We now have with us Senator Franklin Drilon live here in the studio. Good evening, Senator Drilon. Welcome to Solar Network News.
Good evening, Pia. Thank you for inviting me here.
So just to clarify, sir, you did not actually decline the nomination for Chief Justice. You merely...
Well, I publicly declined. I made a statement that I said it's more fun in the Senate. I intend to finish my term.
Yeah.
I have the mandate of over nearly 16 million of our Filipino voters. I intend to finish my mandate. And therefore, I made this public statement. I don't have to make it official with the JBC. I just will not submit any acceptance. So by midnight, I am automatically deemed not to have accepted.
Okay, all right. So my question should have been, you didn't actually formally, in writing,
yes, I need not
to
do it formally in writing. I just let the time for accepting the nominations lapse, and I should be out.
So apart from just finishing that mandate that was given to you, what are the other reasons? Don't you want to be Chief Justice?
I don't want to stay in the monastery, you know? And well, you know,
hindi pwede magpa-interview.
Hindi pwede magpa-interview.
Sayang pa naman malapit lang ang bahay dito.
And you know, at 67 years old, it's a little difficult to change career patterns and paths. So I said I would like to stay in the Senate.
But is it true that you were the chosen one for Chief Justice? Kayo daw talaga ang napupusuan daw ni President Aquino.
I do not know about that. All I can say is yes, I was nominated by a certain attorney Tan, who I don't even know.
What do you mean by you didn't know about that?
Well, let me put it this way, Pia. I don't want to make any. I don't want to make public conversations I've had with the president.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So you've talked about it.
Well, yeah.
So siguro he was telling you na,
as
actually,
I said,
ikaw talaga ang gusto ko sana eh. So he tried to convince you. Did he try to convince you?
Out of respect, I don't want to say anything about conversations with the president.
Okay. But then, well, end result is you just declined na lang.
Yes, I declined. That's public.
Okay. So it's not something you'd want to do. You'd rather stay in the Senate and run again in. Well, are you eligible for?
Yes, I am. I'm qualified for a second term since I had a gap of 3 years from 2007 to 2010.
What do you think of Secretary Laila de Lima? Chief Justice.
She's qualified, and so are those. So is acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio. These people are qualified. May Lucereno, I understand, accepted the nomination. She's qualified. So it's really up to the Judicial and Bar Council to review all of their qualifications.
So we've mentioned Laila de Lima, Antonio Carpio, May Lucereno. Are there others whom you think would be qualified?
Well, I think Tess Herbosa was also nominated, and she accepted. I think, who else? BIR Commissioner
Jimenez, well, she declined.
She declined. I
Yes.
didn't even know, but she was also qualified.
So you've mentioned the names of 3 justices who are now in the High Court and Laila de Lima. Is there anyone else that you think?
Tess Herbosa, I said, the SEC Commissioner, Chairperson. And I don't know who else were nominated.
So parang ito yung mga kandidato nyo?
Hindi naman.
Hindi naman?
No,
I mean, kandidato in a very innocent way.
You were asking me whether they're qualified. They're certainly qualified.
Okay, so it's not like it's a bad thing if someone from within the court becomes Chief Justice.
That is a matter that is left to the judgment of the Judicial and Bar Council and ultimately the President. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with that.
But is it all right also if it is someone from outside the Supreme Court?
Well, the history of the Supreme Court would show that there were times when somebody outside was nominated and appointed, but in most instances, insiders were nominated.
Let's talk about that verbal tussle you had with Mitos Magsaysay, where you talked about yung real Magsaysay, etc. My question, my primary question is: has Mrs. Drilon, your wife, told you, my gosh, I feel so insulted by what you said? Meron bang ganon?
Not at all.
No.
No, not at all.
Well, has any other woman, told you or tested? nakaka-insulto
I have
naman.
only one wife.
Yeah, I know, but what I mean is, wala nang ibang, because I'm asking it that way because Mitos was saying that nakaka-insulto daw sa mga married women.
Well, my wife didn't feel insulted. Firstly, I want to make it clear that all I said was that ang aking kandidato ay si Ramon Magsaysay Jr., ang tunay na Magsaysay. Anak po siya ni Presidente
Magsaysay.
Ramon
Ramon
Magsaysay.
Magsaysay.
Kaya yun ang aking binanggit. Wala akong binanggit na yung iba hindi tunay na Magsaysay.
That was the conclusion that Mitos made na lang.
Yes.
So, the context in which you said it was purely and simply political.
That's correct, and I believe in the qualification of June Magsaysay having been with us in the Senate for 12 years.
Okay, and what you're saying is June Magsaysay is the real guy.
June Magsaysay is the son of Ramon Magsaysay Jr., ang tunay na Magsaysay, meaning that he really is a direct descendant of the president.
Will there be any problems kaya in 2013? Pagbotohan na, no? And then you have the names of June Magsaysay, Ramon Magsaysay Jr. on the ballot, and then there's Mitos Magsaysay also. I'm sure that's something you've talked about, no? Pagboboto na, no? Magsha-shade na yung mga tao.
Well, the problem is not as serious as if it was a manual voting, because then you just shade the names. So that should not be a problem, to my mind.
Okay. On charter change, sir, we understand that your proposal has nothing to do with actual provisions that you would like amended.
That's correct, Pia. The position I've taken is that charter change can be affected by a third mode. The usual mode is through either a constitutional convention or a constituent assembly. I had proposed that if ever there will be a proposed amendments to the Constitution, it can be done by following the procedure that we follow for enacting ordinary laws, but, and I emphasize, with the qualification that it should be by, I think, 3/4 vote, if I'm not mistaken, and then must be ratified by the people.
Okay, and nothing on the actual provisions?
That's correct.
So there's quite a lot of debate right now, no?
Yes, the charter change will always be the subject of a debate.
Is there a proper time for it?
I do not know. Well, it's at the end of the day, it's the people who determine whether it's a time for amendment to the Constitution.
Let's talk about preparation, sir, for 2013. In that special report, I mentioned that you're part of that small core group of the Liberal Party.
Yes.
So you've talked about your 6 core candidates, no? And then there's that list of other candidates from which you're choosing from. Have you been able to pare down that list? Meron na ba kayong natanggal doon?
Wala pa. Well, it's still a long list, although the President has mentioned 4. And then there are coalitions being discussed with NPC, with the Nacionalista Party. And then recently, Coco Pimentel has also expressed interest in, or at least we have made ourselves available to have a coalition with PDP Laban. So it's still a very fluid list today. I hear that Bam Aquino has expressed interest. Well, at a certain point, the President would have to review all of this and discuss it more extensively and make decisions.
And so the final approval will be President Aquino?
Well, we have to consult him because he is the titular head of our party. He is the President. And he's the chairman of our party, so we will have to consult him, and his input, since he's the president, will bear a heavy influence on the final lineup.
How do we resolve the problem or the situation of Coco Pimentel? Because PDP is in coalition or alliance with UNA, no? So paano yon? Parang dadalhin niya yung PDP, or he's a guest candidate of yours? Ano yung arrangement?
We have not discussed this in detail, but maybe as a guest candidate, if that's the most feasible arrangement. Because I believe that Coco Pimentel is very qualified. He fought on the basis of principle. You know, in 2010, Pia, Coco could have run for the Senate after the 2007
elections and protests.
elections, 2007. He could have run in 2010 and could have possibly made it for 6 years. But he stood his ground and said, no, I will not run at this time, meaning 2010, and fight my protest until it is decided on its merits. And there are not many politicians who can do that, stand on the basis of the principles that he fought for. And, for that, I take my hat off to him.
We've talked about June Magsaysay, my last question, a while ago, and I suppose that is a very clear, and your own announcements about him, no, as the real Magsaysay. I think that is I suppose that is a very clear signal that he is on the slate already, that you've got him to agree.
I have secured the endorsement of the president of our party, Mar Rojas, and also Butch Abad on this matter. And we will, together, we'll push hard for Senator Magsaysay to be in the slate. And of course, at the end, the president would have to have his input on this.
Will there be any surprises coming from the LP, the administration party, on the slate for 2013?
Well, the list is getting longer and longer.
Meron pang ibang pangalan bukod sa sinabi ko kanina. Meron pa po? Sino po?
I keep on hearing a lot of things, a lot of names, but until I hear it from them, I do not know whether or not they'll be really interested. All I can say at this point is that the list is quite long.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Senator Frank Drilon. Thank you for being with us, sir.
And thank you for inviting me to your program.
Of course. Thank you, sir.